Hi, hello, Frugal Bear here. So I just wanted to give people an update on my cell phone. So for those of us in the UK, that would be mobile phone bill. And one little tip and trick that I've learned to lower the cost of such bill. So I'm currently with EE, which obviously used to be Orange and T-Mobile in the UK, and they merged and became EE. I think in the States they're T-Mobile at the moment, if I remember rightly. So essentially, what I've done is I have a few handsets because of my mum and my partner, and so I've kind of rolled it all into one, so it is marginally cheaper. So essentially, because I have several handsets and devices all together, I do get a 10% saving for having all of them together. The only issue with it is you have to ask for the saving. Now, this might be the same or different with other cell phone providers, but what I would always recommend doing is both at the time you take out the contract, 1 week after you take out the contract, because there's a 2 week cooling off period usually between taking out a contract and for a mobile phone or a device and being able to make changes on the policy. And then at any time while you're in the contract, just for asking, I would phone them up on their free phone numbers and literally say, I have several devices on my account. Is there any possibility that I'm eligible for some kind of multi-line discount? Now with EE, I do get 10% off all my lines. Off two of my lines, which is like iPad lines. For my mum and my partner. I don't get it for my main handset because they usually give the discount off the additional lines rather than on the main handset. But even if you only have one line on, I would always, at point of taking it out, despite whatever the deal is they're advertising, say, can you do it cheaper? Am I eligible for any other discounts? Really kind of make them work hard to earn your custom, which they should be doing. And then second of all, like 1 week in, just call them and say, obviously I'm still within my, ability to change contracts. Can you lower it? And if they're keen to keep you, hopefully they will lower it, if possible. And then whenever out of that period before renewal, whatever, like 6 months down the line, whatever, you can call them up and say, am I eligible for new discounts? Because I've just received this 10% discount, but literally it's been out since like 2016, but they don't write to tell you. They rely upon you phoning them to ask. So, you know what? Even if it's monthly, I'd call. A lot of people prefer to do it every 3 months, which is probably, more sustainable in terms of the amount of time we have to do things. So maybe every 3 months if you want to do it, that's great. The second thing is obviously, making sure that you're on the right price plan for yourself. Now, with most phone contracts, as far as I'm aware, once it's fixed in after that 2 weeks after initially taking it out, at least in the UK, you can't lower your data usage. There are certain like bundles I think you can take on, or you can put on or off, like free data in a certain country or something if you travel abroad for business or pleasure or whatever. But I'm pretty sure, certainly with my contract with EE, you're locked in theoretically for 24 months because that's how long my contract is. But some contracts you can upgrade at 12 months. Now I'm able to upgrade all my devices in 12 months. I've clarified with them. I am also able to change my allowances, like my calls, my data, all of that. So in May of 2018, it will have been 12 months, and I will be calling them to say, I'd like to upgrade if the deal is good, and I will be pushing them hard on the deal. But I will also be saying, I'd like to lower my data allowance, because actually, right now, I don't use as much data as I used to. I still use quite a lot, so like I'm not wasting that much, but for frugality, I would like to be near enough to on the nose of how much I'm using reasonably over a 3 to 6 month trend. So you don't want to be in a situation, obviously, where let's say you're on a 15 gig deal, 15 GB deal, and you're using like 14.5 most months, and you're going to be like, okay, I'll downgrade to the 12 or even the 14.5, because obviously you want to build in like a margin where you can go above if need be. Otherwise, you're going to end up paying like £10 for like 1 gig of data or something, which is not a good deal if you have to do like a bolt-on and your data runs out. So I would definitely recommend, if you can upgrade early, that is usually an opportunity for you to lower your allowances if you need to and save some money. So that's what I'm going to be doing. The third little tip I want to share is ask for a loyalty discount. So this is something that can be asked for any time you have any issue with the network. So for instance, I've asked because I've moved area and like the signal's not as good, or I've had difficulties with a particular kind of customer service representative that's been rude. In fairness with EE, that's not really happened. I have to say, personally speaking, I know people have different experiences on this. I find EE customer service to be excellent. That's my personal view. But if you did have an issue with any cell phone provider's customer service, they can usually kind of, as a gesture of good faith, lower your current or next subsequent bill by a certain amount. EE tend to do it by £10. So like this month, I've actually had £20 taken off for a couple of reasons, which I won't get into. But it wasn't to do with customer service. That was always excellent. And so I would just make it as a practice, if you're calling every 3 months anyway, to be like, can you give me a better deal? Maybe just say, listen, I'm a loyal customer, I've been paying for X amount of months, years, whatever. Can you show me as a gesture of good faith that you really appreciate me and give me a one-off off my bill? So essentially, I've managed to lower my bill by approximately £10 a month by asking for these loyalty discounts. And then I've also gotten £20 off as a one-off this month. So every little helps. You know what, frugality, it's all about little incremental savings, which is great. So that's good. So that's just one set of tips I wanted to share regarding negotiating your phone contract. And on the one hand, when you signed a contract and it's been 2 weeks, you're locked into the contract. On the other hand, there's always a little bit of wiggle room, not necessarily on the contract, but certainly in terms of when you upgrade and you can like legally break that contract, or when you're asking for gestures of good faith. There's always room for like a company to be like, I'm going to save you a few pounds here because you've had this experience, this bad experience or whatever. So, you know, it's a free phone number. Most of my calls, to be fair, are about 10 to 15 minutes. I've gotten discounts in 5 minutes. I've gotten discounts after an hour. You know, it depends how much time and effort you want to expend. I tend to do it when I'm on a day off because I do shift work, and I'm doing lots of admin anyway, like at my desk. So often I can be multitasking while doing it. So it doesn't really cost me that much time or effort, and it has paid off. So I would recommend that. Okay. If you like this video, please hit subscribe, and here's RJ the Bear wishing you a frugal and happy and healthy life.